So we'll go ahead and get started. As if people come in, we'll obviously allow them in, but I want to first introduce myself. My name is Nick Taylor. I am part of the HPP team, Illinois Human Performance Project. And then we're kind of going to go down the line of what I see on my Zoom. So I'm sorry if you're going to be the first one next, but luckily it is Kathy Ann. So Kathy Ann, if you can introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm Kathy Ann Smith. I am a sponsor of our club called Cougar Climb. So I'm a chapter of ILHPP, and I'm just here to help out and tell you guys it's a pretty awesome experience, and hopefully you'll enjoy it.
And then next on the list is Erin.
Hi, everybody. I am Erin Donlin. I'm with Illinois HPP as well as a prevention specialist.
Travis.
I'm Travis Grant. I'm actually a first-year school counselor at Morton High School, right outside of Peoria, Illinois. I was a college athlete and I've been a high school coach. My principal actually sent me the information for this, and so I wanted to learn more about it.
What sport did you play in college?
So I was a baseball player, and I played high school soccer as well, and then just, I don't know, an avid golfer. So.
Oh, we're going to be friends, Travis, you and I. Next on the list is Brenda.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brenda. I'm a prevention specialist with Omni Youth. I came here today because I would love to be able to speak intelligently about ILHPP to Wheeling High School, which is my designated school in the area. So excited to learn some more today.
Thank you, Brenda. And then to wrap it up, Terry.
Hi, my name's Terry Klobnak. I am at Antioch High School. This is my 16th year there. I am the PE driver ed health department chair, and I also am our student activities director. So I was forwarded this by my principal as well. So I thought I would just come and hear a little bit more about it on a Friday, as we are remote on Fridays. So I thought I would kind of just see what it is and see if it's something that we wanted to kind of fizz into, whether it is PE, health, or any of my activities to get involved. Okay.
That's awesome, Terry. So we're going to start this meeting off. Again, thank you for coming this Friday, but we're going to start this meeting off by doing what we would normally do with students or with part of our chapter advisors like Kathy Ann, where we do an activity to kind of get everybody loose, kind of see what people are feeling that day. So if everyone has their phone by them, if you could pull out the stopwatch app, or just like a stopwatch on your phone. If you don't have an iPhone, it's not an app. But once you have that, if you could just give me a big thumbs up on the screen, let me know, and then we'll get it going. And if you're going off your phone, it could be a little difficult. Terry, you're all set?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna count down 3, 2, 1. You're gonna start your stopwatch and then close your eyes, and you will open your eyes whenever you think that 30 seconds has passed. And when you think 30 seconds has passed, you will stop your stopwatch. And then once everybody is done, we'll kind of see what everyone's time is. So if everyone understands, we're gonna go ahead and get started. 3, 2, 1. And then if everyone was done, we're going to quickly go down the line and just let me know what time you were. So Kathy Ann.
22.63.
Erin.
25.92.
Brenda.
25.59.
Travis.
36.
And Terry.
37.
37. So what the point of this is that we kind of see time as a difference in how we go throughout our day, right? So when I did it the first time, I think I was somewhere like 19 seconds because I just get really impatient. I'm thinking like, let's go, go, go. So as a team member, Aaron can attest to this, that I am constantly wanting to do something or get something going, right? Travis, I'm not saying you don't want to get things done, but maybe you let them come to you, right? Like maybe more, it's kind of, you pick out what you're doing, you make sure you're spending that quality time on it, and then you move on to the next thing. So it's kind of a cool way to see how staff members or your students kind of take that 30 seconds and roll with it, right? So that's just kind of a fun activity that we do, kind of get the students in our meetings ready to see each other, ready to kind of be active and kind of learn a little bit more about themselves. So the Illinois Human Performance Project, before I pass it on, I'll do a quick little brief. We have 4 modules: nutrition, mood and mindset, sleep, and chemical health. And so these 4 modules are really what we hone in on. And although we talk about student athletes a lot, this is not a program that is just for student athletes. Entire schools can use it. Everybody can benefit from the different programming that we offer and different activities and information that we go over. As we move forward, Kathy Ann's going to show you what Conant High School does and how they have used these 4 modules and their students in their chapter to make Conant High School such a great place. So without further ado, I will pass it on to Kathy Ann.
So I'm going to go off what Nick had said. I'll give you a little quick background of how we started with ILHPP. It's kind of we fell into the right place at the right time, I guess I'll say. I was a varsity head softball coach at Conant High School for 18 years. I had coached there for 24. This is my 26th year as a teacher. And I got the head job when I was 7 months pregnant with my son. And 18 years later, I decided to step down because he's a baseball player. He's now playing in college. And I kind of wanted to see him play before his high school life was over. And as you know, softball and baseball are at the same time. So it was a great decision for me. One of my athletes actually graduated from U of I and took the program over. So that was great. But I knew that I couldn't just not do something. So I talked to my athletic director and I said, these kids have been talking, I've heard them. And when I was in high school, we had like a varsity club where we would come together and talk about things going on and how to make athletes better. He's like, well, there's this girl, Kara, who keeps emailing me. And something about this ILHPP, maybe we should check it out. And I said, okay. I went to a meeting very much like what you guys are at now. And I was like, we need to check this out. Okay. Reason being, the ideas that I had about getting athletes more involved was exactly what we saw. And they're already an established organization, and the resources that they have, like with Omni and things like that, are just phenomenal. So that's my little plug, first of all, but I wanted to let you know how we started. So in 2019, we attended a conference, and we actually got to do it in person because then the world had not ended per se. And it was great. We took about 10 kids through the conference and leadership training. So we started with 10 kids and we went into the fall as a new chapter, and we're like, okay, how do we do this? And we did a few things. And then, as I said, the world ended. But the plus is that the kids actually have come together so much more to lead and get things going within the pandemic, that despite it sounding maybe like it might be something difficult or you're not sure if it fits in with your school, this can be tailor-made to anybody. I truly believe. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what we do and how we got all the information out to the coaches, right? We said, look, coaches are like, well, there's this club, this Cougar Climb, who are they? So our kids kind of got together and they created this little video that I will share with you first. Let me see if I can make this happen. Okay. If hopefully you are all seeing a little screen here that says Cougar Climb Intro to Coaches. Yes, nice. Okay, now I have to do this whole share computer sound thing. I think we're in business. All right. Make this bigger. Here we go. Okay, hello, coaches. We would like to say thank you for giving us your time right now. And these are the members of Cougar Climb that I am lucky enough to sponsor. I'd like for them to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about who they are and what our club is all about.
Hi, I'm Neha.
I'm Simran.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Nicholas.
And I'm Thomas.
Our creed for this club is we aspire to climb to reach our goals.
We are committed to bringing together the sports community at Conant,
Developing leadership in athletes.
And inspiring active and healthy lifestyles.
The acronym CLIMB is a mentality we strive to have, which stands for community, leadership, integrity, mindset, and balance. With that being said, we truly aspire to help athletes become leaders.
Please check out the presentation that we attached to this video. We really want to be a strong fixture in our community, and we believe we can inspire athletes to do so. Also, please check out our Instagram run by our other leader, Morgan Belcher. We have a lot of posts on there to help too.
Thank you, coaches, for your time. And these guys are a great group of kids ready to help at any time. Thanks. Okay, so that was in place of what our original plan was, which was going to the coaches in their mandatory meetings, right, for fall, winter, spring. So because that wasn't happening, this is what we came up with. So it was a little rocky, a little shaky, but all of the coaches did appreciate it. And it went to everyone from the freshman B basketball coach all the way up to the head football coach. And then what the kids do is they put together a presentation that I'm going to share with you and kind of go over a little bit. I told Nick that you are more than welcome to have access to this if you would like, if you have any questions of things that you're interested in. But this is what the kids all put together. This is not me doing this. This is them. So let me find a way to make this play. Here we go. All right. Okay. So who we are. We are Climb. As you can see, this was a picture from our first conference that we attended. The kids designed this logo, which we are currently putting on t-shirts. The one thing that we're going to do is also send it out to the staff to see if they would like to purchase and support Climb. It could be for anybody. So we're seeing if we could do that as a little, not a fundraiser per se, but just to have a little extra money instead of always asking our athletic department to help us out and sponsor us. I kind of gave you the background already, how we became a chapter. We started with 10 members and today we have 35 that are solid and active. So over a pandemic and a year and a half, pretty much, I feel that we've really grown to what we are looking to accomplish. There are some schools that have chapters that have, 500 members per se. They've been doing it a little bit longer. What the kids said they wanted was they didn't want it just open to anybody being able to just sign up and put it on their college resume. And I said, well, we're talking about equality and equity here too. What do you mean? And they said, well, we really want kids to be invested and committed. And that's the word that kind of Conant commits. That's kind of the word that we've been using here. And so the goal is to tap on those kids that are part of athletics. We have band. The 6 kids that you saw there are also involved in a variety of activities. Neha, which is our main president, I guess, so to speak, she just got an award for Girl Scouts, and she's brought different kinds of things to our school outside of athletics. Okay, but she is a basketball player as well. So we've done a few things like the brown bag snack, parent athletic meetings. Brown bag snack was a cool thing we did where we put together healthy snacks in brown bags, literally during the week of finals, because we would take finals up until 1 o'clock for 3 days. because we take our finals before winter break, and then kids had to go right to practice. So we made it available and we asked coaches, would you be interested? Now, the only team that kind of didn't want that was the wrestling team, because they're a little unique when it comes to what they eat and what they don't eat, right? So when we had them all together and the wrestlers didn't want it, our cheer girls are like, we'll take theirs. So they actually took the extra, which was awesome, right? These little flyer girls were like, I'll take 2 bags. So it was really cool. We had them all set out. They delivered them to the teams, and they really appreciated having a little snack before practice. So those are a few of the things that, you know, they did prior to the pandemic. Now, this is the part, Terry, that may help for you too. The kids present this to their, to their teams, but they also presented this to all of the wellness teachers and saying, look, this is what we're doing here with peers. How can we incorporate this as well into a common theme in all of our wellness classes, right? So the kids put this together and wanted to talk about the 4 modules, the science modules that are important because athletes need to know these things as far as sleep and nutrition, but it really could be for everybody. So that's how they incorporated the wellness classes in there. Here they talked about self-awareness attitude. So Travis, we also work with the counselors with mindfulness, and it's been great. We've had a counselor come to one of our meetings and say, all right, guys, what do you need from me? And they're like, well, could we do something with the badminton team on mindfulness? So actually this afternoon, Simran, who you saw in the video, and I are meeting with the JV badminton team and talking about, staying in the now and being mindful of what's going on around you and how to like bring yourself back. So we got some of the tips per se from ILHPP and the resources, as well as the counselor. So we're just kind of utilizing all aspects of our school where it's needed. All right, so little things that we talk about here. Emotion, mentality. This is definitely a little more geared towards our athletes, okay? But it can be applied anywhere. It's the overview, right? We talked about this with our classes when we were in full remote, right? Back in October. And it was presented in the wellness leadership class about if you're feeling unmotivated, go on a short walk, bike, or run, or get your energy back up and refocus on your goals, right? How are our goals important? Well, right now in the pandemic, the goal was to actually not give up, right? For many of our students. Our athletes were sitting there waiting to see what would happen, right? So we had little short public service announcements, and on Instagram, on our Twitter page. We don't have a Facebook page because kids say that that's for old people, but Twitter and Instagram for sure. And it gets shot out about, hey, Motivation Monday. And the kids would put a quote out there and tag things. And we got a lot of followers that way just to kind of spruce people up. All right. Connecting to the community. Again, we were sitting here waiting. They didn't know what we would be doing, where would we be going. We ended up partnering up with an organization called POC, Partners for Our Communities, which is based out of Arlington Heights, Palatine area. And we did a coat drive because one of the girls was very interested in how we could help the homeless, as we were hearing about the rent moratorium ending and things like that. The original drive that they had wanted to do was reaching kids by doing a like a ball drive, or like equipment, that's the word, sorry, athletic equipment drive, right? And they said, everybody has extra balls, mitts, thing in their garages. Let's bring them all together and have like a place kids can come and pick them up, right, for free. But at that point in time, with sanitation and things like that, we're like, So we are still going to try and do that this summer as things are getting a little more, open. we could still sanitize everything, but we think that that might go off better in the summer. So instead we did a clothing drive, and these are the kids. We're all out there in our masks. We collected, a ton of things, and it was really great. People drove up, dropped their stuff off, and that's what we did. And it was nice to be able to have the kids see each other, even though it was outside of the school building. But it was a nice little thing that they did together, and they led it. Okay, so here we talk about our leadership aspects, making sure that they know how to, so while they're in this club, the goal is, what are they doing as a unit, but yet reflecting on who they are as an individual, right? How can they give themselves to the club and be committed, but also be committed to helping their teammates, helping their classmates, right? Now, let's be honest, teenagers are usually not ones to look for conflict per se, so they stay silent. So we've been talking a lot this year, especially about how to not be that bystander. And that's a tough one, right? How do you not ignore the fact that some of your teammates, while we were on, downtime, were, going and hanging out at a friend's house partying, but yet they're athletes, right? How do you say, hey, that's not a good idea. That's not what we want, and not be deemed as the snitch or the brat, right? That's a big issue with teenagers, especially in athletics. So that's a constant thing that we're working through. And it's been great because our principal actually got on board with us and said, this is a school-wide issue, okay? And we've been talking a lot about Title IX because there are always things to address, right, with that aspect. So it's been nice to work through it with the kids, but then also have that support from the school and realize that they're not alone, and how can we all listen and be there for each other. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the details of this, but again, this will be shared with you. This is what the kids do and share with the wellness teachers, that they put together all these slides. A lot of the information they gathered from the conferences that they had gone to with ILHPP, and talking about the importance of sleep, right? Definitely for athletes, but just in general. ILHPP provided us with some posters that they already have made, and they got dropped off at Conant, and we put them up, especially as we're getting closer to AP testing, SAT testing, and for athletes that are, getting into gear here. So these are just little things that they share. They talk about sleep again, little tips. Then nutrition is another one of the modules that they share, how it affects your mood. So they present this to the teachers and to the athletes. Okay, they go through nutrition, chemical health. This one is what they sign off on, right? Every athlete has to sign. Now that it's electronic, I'll be honest, as a parent of an athlete who is a senior, my son and I'm like, okay, I just click sign for him, right? On the form. I will be honest, I don't make him sit with me and read through everything, and I don't think any parent does. But our athletes make sure that they bring this up and point this out and be like, by the way, you signed something when you registered to be an athlete, and this is what you signed and committed to not be a part of. Okay, so things like this they bring up. They go through the alcohol. So a lot of this is probably in your curriculum, Terry, already, but it's kind of nice when the kids bring it up, because then it's like, oh, it's not just a teacher telling you this is bad for me, right? And we've had some kids that actually give examples of, hey, I've seen this happen in my club team, or whatever the case may be. So they wrap up with key takeaways, and then that's it. So overall, the kids really put this out there and share it with their student, with their peers, and then with the wellness teachers. Okay, so that was my overview. Nick, I guess I didn't want to just keep throwing information at people and boggle their brains, but I'm one of those that was at 22, so I was under that 30 mark, right? So I keep going. But I guess at this point, I would say, what kind of questions or things can I help make more clear with what this is all about?
I do have a couple questions because I knew nothing about this at all. So this is this is awesome. Like my brain is like going, like when I hear things, I like go into like planning, problem solving mode and different things like that. So I also oversee, my role is in so many different things. Like,
yeah, you've got a lot of hats.
I do. And I'm in our office with our athletic director as well. So we work together pretty decently of different things. So a lot of different things. So I wrote down a couple different questions.
Sure.
First, do the students present this to the classes, or they share it with the teachers to then present to the wellness classes?
Good question. So we had a small group that presented to the class themselves, and it was kind of like a plug for being part of the club as well, like if they were interested in learning more. And they did it to the, we have a section called Leaders PE, where is a junior, they're being trained on how to be a leader so that they can be that assistant to the seniors. I'm sure you're familiar. So that was the class that the students presented. Then they shared it with the wellness teachers and said, if you would like us to talk to, any of your groups or your kids, let us know, but this is the information so you know that we're out there. And then a couple teachers, like our adventure ed teacher, decided to share some of it when they were talking about a unit. And he had one of our club students in class, so they kind of joined in, but for the most part, it was just to the one class.
All right, and anybody can jump in. I have a couple different questions, but feel free. I don't mean to monopolize this couple different things. You mentioned something that Illinois HPP has conferences that the students attend. What are those, or how many, or what does that look like?
Nick?
So I actually can't speak upon the conference that Kathy Ann attended because that was prior to me being a part of the HPP team. But I will say, Kara, the girl that Kathy Ann mentioned earlier, and I are planning this throughout this whole week, the conference for this upcoming year. And that'll be in the summer with COVID. One day we're hoping that will be in person. And then the 2 other days will be like maybe an hour session that will be online. And at these conferences, for example, I'll kind of go through the itinerary of what we want this one to look like. We're wanting to have 2 guest speakers to kind of either talk about their life and how ILHPP, the beliefs that we have correlate with that. And then we also do like leadership development games or activities that the students can partake in to kind of figure out who they are as a leader, and then also network with other schools as well. Kathy Ann, if you
how many kids typically attend, like, per school?
It varies. Like there's Libertyville High School this is just from what I know, Libertyville High School, from the conference I was in person in whenever 2019, they brought a whole bunch, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
like
they just
20, I think 30. I think they had 30
I think it was like 30 kids, but then you have other schools who just bring maybe 10. So it really depends on what school and how many students you have in your chapter. With COVID being COVID, our goal is to maybe max out at 125 this year. So there might be a restraint on Libertyville, for example, bringing 30 people. They won't be able to do that, unfortunately, but being in person is a huge point of that this year.
And the plan is to try and get like a tent and be outside, right, Nick?
Yes. It will be, that first day will be outside for sure.
So Terry, too, just so you know, the best way I can explain it to people is I say, it kind of reminds me of like, if you've ever attended like a confirmation retreat, or it's like going to one of those without the focus on a religion, right?
Yeah.
So it's more like a motivational type of woohoo, and the kids get really excited when they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand that, or I connect to that, and the games, and it's just a real good gathering. The speakers have been phenomenal. Like we've had Joe Bush, which is a great speaker. We've had some former Olympians that have talked. The Navy SEALs guy was great. He talks about like grit, and perseverance. And he said he didn't even know where he was going in life, and he ended up there, right? So again, I think it's a really cool event. And when there's not that big one, they also have them throughout the year. And this year, we attended a mid-year one, which was virtual. What was the name of the guy, Nick, that did it this year? Mid-year?
His name was Tyler Pazik.
Okay.
So he's kind of like a motivational speaker. We've had, if you go to our website, which I will follow up with you guys after this, don't worry, and I'll provide all the links. But if you go to our website, he has a bunch of videos there. And our website's free. All of our programming is free.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a resource to help you and your students as much as possible. But he has a bunch of videos on like breathing techniques and how to kind of reconnect and, become the best leader you are. I do want to speak upon, other than mid-year, we also have opportunities for you as staff to grow. We had a coaches clinic this past February with Todd Corbin. He was a mindfulness speaker. He has a book with that talks about mindfulness with student athletes. So he was able to speak for about an hour and a half and do a Q&A with the attendees. And then we're also planning one in April on the 25th, and we have 5 panelists. And just a brief one, we have an Olympic bobsledder, a professional women's soccer player, a past NCAA champion in shot put, and then a past Big Ten champion in hurdles at University of Illinois. And then we also have a current University of Illinois volleyball player. So those 5 people will be there, and kind of just letting you as staff learn how you can best connect with your students and what maybe these student athletes did that got them to where they are today. So obviously the kids are a huge focus, but we do want to make sure that you as staff are learning as well.
Awesome. How many schools do you have participating in this? Is it like in Illinois?
You're muted.
Oh, I am muted.
You're fine, Terry.
Oh, Nick was muted. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say it's close. I think it's around like 15, and that we do have some middle schools as well, like that feeder schools. But yeah.
Is this usually a club? Like, I know you talked, it's weird because I see so many different things because I do a lot with athletics and PE still, but then I also oversee all of our student activities. So like, and we are, for those of you, we're way up north. And the weird part about our conference as well, like I'm familiar with Conant and like the bigger, like we're a school about just 1,200. There's 2 schools in our district, but we also, our conference not only is like our athletic directors kind of, we meet as activity directors. So we put on a handful of events for activities within our own conference. So when you were talking about the retreat, like there's a snowball retreat that we also participate with Grays Lake and Grant and Lakes. And so that's what it reminds me of a little bit. And so my athletic director is retiring. I have a new one coming to work with us, and she's a PE teacher with me. So we have a lot of different goals that we have thinking of, and we've been wanting to get some type of leadership program. Is this typically like a paid club out of this, or does it look different? And I guess speaking for Conant, like is that what it is? Like it's a separate club?
Yeah, it's considered a club, and I fall under like the athletic leadership sponsor, right?
Okay.
But yes, it is listed as like a club for us. But like I said, we've kind of taken it where we focus on gathering our athletes for leadership. But we also we have 2 members who decided not to play a sport their senior year. And they were like, well, can I still be part of the club? I'm like, yes, absolutely. I'm like, leadership is still there. They've been a part of it, right? So that's where we're at as far as reaching out and kind of singling in on our athletic programs, because we've had a downfall with our culture in athletics, with some situations that have gone on where we really want to focus on bringing it back to positive, getting athletes all on one page. So yes, it's a club, but again, most of our members are athletes.
And we put on, and it reminds me, we do a conference, a leadership conference. It's the NLCC Northern Lake County. And so we do a leadership conference that incorporates our student athletes and also our activities. So I actually usually ask, every sport gets to nominate 2 students, and then there's 2 students from each of my clubs that also attend. And so that's held at our community college. Of course, this year we didn't have it, but we're still looking if CLC will let us still go in person. We're hoping that we'll bring that back. So guest speakers and breakout sessions. So kind of nice, but I really see this, we just don't carry it out through the rest of the year. So that's where I'm looking at doing something. And this really appeals to what I kind of want to do. So awesome.
Yeah, I would think that like the kids that get nominated for that could be the start of your chapter, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of already built in, right? So
exactly. Thank you guys. So sorry to if anybody else wants to talk.
No worries. Thank you so much. If there's any other questions, if not, again, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your Friday morning and tuning into this meeting. I will follow up with you guys probably next week, let you guys enjoy your Friday, you know, get to the weekend. And then if you have any questions then, that'd be great. But I'll supply a lot of links and information that you can either take to other people at your school. And like I said, this meeting was recorded. So I will also provide that with you in a link if you need to show anybody else what we are about. And yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys want, I'll put in the chat my email address. If anybody wants to, you know, have a question based on, like, I'm helping a girl out of Stevenson also who's starting a chapter. So you are more than welcome to, you know, email me directly related to a school event anytime. All right, that's all I got.
Thank you again.
Thanks so much.
All right, thanks guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
You're
we'll
welcome.
be in touch. Okay.
Thanks, Carrie. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Is that good?
That was great. You're so good.
Oh, no. I was like, I couldn't remember how long you told me to talk, and I didn't want to talk too long, so.
I'm trying to see what county that.
Do you want to
Terry-
stop recording, though?
Eh,
Okay.
I
County,
guess.
I want to say they're in Lake County.